Hi, this is me again, Prof X squared. This time we're going to do some practice because I think you've now watched all of the videos on the tabular method for integration by parts, and now that you are hooked and a total addict to the tabular method and are telling all your friends about how wonderful it is, why not take some time to practice? Now, how are you going to practice this? If there's a good place, that is at my website. And my website is called waynamath.com. So what I'm going to do is take you there. I will bring up a browser, and then in the browser I'm typing waynamath.com. W-A-N-E-R math.com. The slash is optional, of course. And you can just hit enter, and you go to the website of our textbooks. It's kind of advertising for our textbooks, which are, of course, the best books in the world, but nonetheless, all you have to do is click on any of the icons you like because they take you to the same place. And that place is a great resource for everything you want to know about applied calculus, finite math, you name it. What we're going to do is go to the tutorials. Then we scroll down to where we see integration by parts. That's in the applied calculus section, somewhere near the bottom. There it is, the very last one. Click on that and you get a tutorial. Now that tutorial basically goes through the stuff I went over with you in the videos. So we don't have to go through that again. All you have to do is watch those videos. But in addition to going over all the stuff, there's practice. For example, the first part allows you to practice the shortcut method for integrating things like ax plus b, you see that, to the nth power. So I think, well, let's just guess what it might be. As we type it in, the formula you're typing will appear on the right-hand side, and all you have to do is use graphing calculator type notation. In other words, pretend you were putting this formula in your favorite graphing calculator. So this would be 2x minus 3. Now let's see, I think I should add 1 to the exponent, so let's go to the minus 2, and then you divide by the exponent, right? Plus c, I guess. Oh, notice that the formula I've typed in has appeared on the right-hand side. So you can check that you're using the right parentheses and so on. Let's check to see if that's right. I guess it isn't, because our thinking person here is telling us that I think you forgot to divide by the coefficient of x. What coefficient of x? Oh yes, this is the shortcut method. Here is the formula. If you integrate a power of ax plus b, you divide by the n plus first power, and you also divide by what's in front of the x, the coefficient of x, which in this case is 2. So I have to divide this answer by 2. Now if I look at this answer and I want to divide it by 2, all I really have to do is change this denominator to a negative 4. And that should do the trick. Let's see if that's right, and it's right. Now there's a whole bunch of others. If you're stuck, you can always press the peek button, which does it for you. Kind of a boring way to do math, just pressing peek buttons, but so much for that. Now there is a game version of the tutorial, which I'm going to bring up in a different tab. That is another question entirely. It is the same tutorial, but it does not give you peek opportunities. Does not tell you the answers, and it gives you points and asks you to identify yourself. So let's identify myself as Prof X squared and submit that. Then I have my name appearing on the scores. There they are. There are the scores. Now the trouble with this short window is that you can't see the entire content, so I'm going to make it smaller. Very tiny. But we're not going to really do much with this tutorial except look at it. If you scroll down here, you will see an absence of peek buttons. So this time, if you put a wrong answer in, like 555, you get a kind of bad result. Your health starts going down, and all kinds of terrible things happen. Eventually, if you keep persisting, your health will really go down. And all kinds of fun stuff happens in the game. Every time you reload the page, you get totally different problems to do, so you will never get bored. Anyway, back to integration by parts. If you scroll down further, let's keep going. This is the method that's outlined for you in the video. No need to go through all that again, except here is one you can actually do. Now I'm going to make that a little bigger because I want to see what I'm doing here. Now this is one of the easy ones. Remember that if you have a polynomial times an exponential function, you can put the polynomial in the D column. So I'm going to put the 4x plus 3 in the D column, and I'm going to put the e to the negative x plus 2 in the I column. E to the negative. Notice if you forget to put parentheses like I'm going to do on purpose, you can see that it's wrong. You see that? You have to put the whole exponent in parentheses, otherwise it doesn't understand what you're doing. So let's try that. Now it's happy. That's the formula you mean. That's the other part of the integrand. So what we're going to do is, remember, keep differentiating until you get nothing. So the derivative of this is 4. The derivative of 4 is 0. And the integral of this function here is itself. So I'm going to copy and paste, except it's a negative version of itself by the shortcut. So go over that again. And then you integrate it again, it'll be the positive version. Let's check to see if that's right. I got 100% here. I must be good. Now we can write down the answer. The answer is equal to this times this minus this times that. And there's nothing to integrate going across. So the answer would be, just type it in the long way, 4x plus 3 times e to the negative x plus 2, which I copied. Notice it's appearing here as I type. So it's the first part, except there's a minus, so let's put a minus somewhere. And then we take minus this times that. So it'll be minus 4 times the same thing, plus c. So it's kind of a long formula because it really wanted me to simplify it, and I didn't simplify it. So it's yelling, you should simplify the answer more. Now, how do we simplify the answer more? Well, that is a common factor, so I'm going to take it out. Go back to the beginning and put it in the front, and then use parentheses. And because I've taken it out as a common factor, I can start erasing where I've duplicated it inside my parentheses, like so. So far, so good. Notice that's what I have, plus c. Is that simple enough? No, still not happy. Because look at that. I've got negative 4x minus 3 minus 4 is minus 12. So this should really be a negative 4x minus 12. Hopefully that's happy now. And it's wrong. Let's see why it's wrong. Because I made a mistake. Minus 4 times 3 is, oops. Minus 3 minus 4 is not minus 12. It's minus 7, for heaven's sake. So let's try again. Minus 4x minus 7. Close my parentheses. Thank heavens. Professor X got one right, eventually. So this is the kind of thing that you can do. You can practice all day. Now remember, the nasty thing about the non-game version is that the peak buttons give you the answers, so you can just get them automatically. That's no fun. So go to the game version. There are no peak buttons to help you, and every time you load it, it is different. So here's a similar problem to the one we just did, but not quite the same. Interesting. Okay. Notice on the game tutorial all kinds of strange pictures appear, and when you click on them, strange things may or may not happen to you. But not to worry about it. If you keep going through this, you will get tons of practice on it, and further down, we're talking about polynomials times logarithms. Remember, when you have a polynomial times a logarithm, you put the log in the D column. I'll write it as ln of x like that, and I'm going to put the x minus 3 in the I column. And let's see if it's right so far. So far it's right. You can always check partial results. And it says, oh, I've got to take the derivative of log x, that's 1 over x. What's the derivative, what's the integral of x minus 3? Well, just let's integrate that thing. The integral of x is x squared over 2, and the integral of 3 is 3x. So let's try that and see, and it's quite happy with everything. Then you have to get the answer down. Now remember, the answer that will involve an integral this time. If you go back to the video on integration by parts to remind yourself, it's going to be that times that expression minus the integral of 1 over x times that. And when you multiply them together, you just cancel 1x out of every term and then integrate, and you're done. So I'm going to let you do it. I'm just going to press help. The help will kind of give you a whole lot of stuff in the margin that we won't be able to see because of this tiny little screen here. So don't worry about that. You'll be able to see it on your huge big computer with your panoramic 20-foot screen, so don't worry about it. Now let's go back to the game, because when you want practice, there's no point in pressing help. There's no help to press. If you go to the game, it doesn't have help buttons, so you're really on your own. And remember, every time you load it, you get different problems. So let's scroll back down to where we were. For example, with the logarithm, you'll see a slightly different problem. It's not going to be 3, whatever it was there. What was it, x minus 3? Here it's 3x minus 2. Same story, 3x minus 2. Take the derivative of that and the integral of the, backwards, right? The log has to be differentiated. Almost lost some points, and the 3x minus 2 has to be integrated. When you differentiate the log, you get 1 over x. When you integrate 3x over 2, you should get 3x squared divided by 2 minus 2x. So let's try that. Yes, notice I get sound effects with the game, and my health is really good for some reason. I must have clicked on some strange pictures that appear when you weren't looking. And you can get the answer. No peek button, so you'd have to actually write it down. So we could actually figure it out. It's going to be the natural log of x multiplied by that expression over there, which I'm just going to copy and paste because I'm very lazy, minus the integral. Now, for that, we're going to have to do some thinking. The integral of this times that. Now, when you multiply something by 1 over x, all you really do is cancel an x, don't you? So this would just be 3x. I'm just going to change it in that picture, minus 2. And then I have to integrate that. And so I'll get 3x squared minus 4, parentheses 3x squared over 4, minus 2x. Notice I put that in parentheses because I'm subtracting the whole integral, plus c. So let's try that out and really hope for the best. Yes, I got it right. That's 2 down and a whole bunch to go, right? So keep going through the whole game. If you look at the small view, you can see a little more of the game. And you'll see that I have 2 keys. Where do these keys come from? I won them by being so good at game tutorials, which I ought to be because I made them. And the keys give you information. Oh, I've just won this key. It's kind of flickering. So yes, congratulations. I just won the orange key right when I was making this video. You see strange things happening in the game. I won't even show you more of it. I will leave it as a secret. When you click on the pictures, funny things happen. There's a science fiction story underlying it. And the more keys you have, the more you know about that sci-fi story. So if you like gaming, and if you like integration by parts, you will have hours and hours of entertainment. So have fun and take care.